Hey guys, Jay here with you one more time. I had to make this last video because this is eating me alive about Greaseball Jeff. I'm gonna give him a little test. Number one, Jeff, what is the first thing you do before you enter the aircraft? And I'm not giving you time to look this shit up. You got a half hour to respond to this video. Number two, how do you start the aircraft? Mind you, clock is ticking. Number three, how do you taxi? Clock is ticking. Number four, how do you do a run-up? Clock is ticking. Number five, if you're not in control of the airport, what do you use to call in to report your departure? Clock is ticking. Half hour. Jerk off. Number six, when you take off and you pull the nose too high and the aircraft is blaring a horn, what is that called? Clock is ticking. When you're up to altitude and you get up too high and you pull the nose up and the horn starts blaring, what's that called? Clock is ticking. If you're coming in and you lose the engine and you're going to overshoot your landing strip, there's two forms of slips that you would use. What are they called? Clock is ticking. When you go for your check ride, Mr. Jeffrey Know-It-All Noise, what's the first thing that the designee or the FAA or whoever, well, it wouldn't be FAA on your shithole country, but what's the first thing it would ask you to do? Clock is ticking. What happens when the FAA gets in, or when the designee gets in the aircraft? What's the first thing you tell him to do? Clock is ticking. What do you do when they put you under the hood, Jeffrey? Clock is ticking. How do you chart a map, Jeffrey? Clock is ticking. If you have no GPS, how do you chart a map? Clock is ticking. In other words, if you get into, what would you call it if you fly into the clouds? Clock is ticking. If you're not in the clouds, what do you call that? Clock is ticking.
A new station alert has arrived.
How do you figure out where the hell you're at if you actually fly into the clouds and have to return back to the airport without a GPS? Clock is ticking. See, you're dumber than a box of fucking rocks. There's nothing in that logbook that showed you taking any cross-country flights or anything else. The first thing I would ask you is, how do you start the aircraft, Jeffrey? What is the first thing you do? Without looking it up online. You got a half hour to respond, dickhead. And if you can't pass that portion of it, you ain't gonna pass the rest of it. Forward slip, side slip. Oh, one more question, Jeffrey. If the instructor tells you to do a 60-degree bank, what do you have to do to go on a 60-degree bank, Jeffrey? Clock is ticking. and a 152. What do you have to do to go on a 60-degree bank? Which I think they're rated up to 30 degree, but you can twist them on 60. Even a 30-degree bank. What do you have to do, Jeffrey? Clock is ticking. You got a half hour, asshole. You can't answer him, I'll get on there and answer him for you. Dumb fuck. You're a lying ass piece of shit. You've had as much flight experience as my fucking dog does. And he's smarter than you. Alright guys, I'm gonna go. Love y'all. God bless. Please like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget the damn likey button.